Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. This is a Wellness Wednesday, and you know the drill. Every Wednesday around these parts, we talk to you about a matter that is of importance to your health. And today will be no different. And so I'm inviting you to invite everyone you know to go ahead and tune in today, because we're going to be talking about an issue that is primarily a female issue, but men will tell you around the world who live with women, even though this is a female issue, it definitely impacts them because of the way it impacts the females in their lives. So that being said, I'd like to let you know how you can get in to be a part of this conversation today. In case you have a question to ask or a comment, this is the way that you do it. The telephone numbers to call are 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, and the WhatsApp line for messages or calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. We're also streaming live to our YouTube channels, and you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. You can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And of course, you can listen by radio. A huge welcome to all of you who are tuned in. New Providence, Grand Bahama, around the Family Islands, and especially those of you who are tuned in from outside the Bahamas. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always a pleasure to be in your company. Please like and share the show, especially if you know a female who is above the age of 12, because this topic today is going to impact her life. And like I said, men, don't tune out because y'all know that's a woman show today. Yeah, you live with women. And this issue affects the women in your life and therefore affects your life, because when things don't go well with this, it tends to impact the way women react and behave around everyone. So yeah, you would want to get this information as well, man. So this ain't just a woman show, okay? So what are we talking about today? Well, I'll tell you what sort of inspired this show for me. couple of weeks ago, I was watching a television talk show here in the Bahamas, and there was a member of the TG, not TG, of the LBGTIQ plus community, a trans person, on this particular talk show. And the host of the show, Shanique Miller, they were talking, about whether or not trans women are actually women. And the host of the show asked the trans person who was on her show whether or not they ever experienced cramps, talking about menstrual cramps. And to my amazement, the person said, Shanique, I get cramps every month, and they are so bad, I can hardly walk. And I'm saying to myself, particularly as a health coach, you may be getting cramps every month, but it ain't for the same reason what a female gets cramps every month, because you don't have the anatomy to do that. So maybe you need to check a doctor to see why you have the cramps every month. But it ain't because you're no female. Let's get that straight. Because you don't have the anatomy that causes cramps every month, or periods every month, or what we call menstruation every month, or what some people call the curse every month. You don't have the body parts. Let's be real now. So I don't know, it's ironic because I'm calling this show It's Not All in Your Head. But in the case of that person, it might all be in their head. But for a biologically, a naturally born female, this is not all in your head. Now, what am I talking about? For years, because the medical professionals did not understand what was happening in a woman's body, they dismissed the complaints that women had about menstrual cramps and periods and, oh, you're just being dramatic. Oh, you're just looking for attention. And so for years, women have had to suffer through this, for some debilitating condition, silently, because people didn't believe that they were going through something physical. So over the years, with the medical professionals doing more research, now they have a better understanding of why women, that is human beings with wombs, I gotta say that nowadays because we live in La La Land, where everything is pretend. Where we have a transgender talking about he just get cramps every month at a place where he can't walk. You need to go see a doctor to it. But I try not to go down that road today. Okay, let me just stay focused. But yeah, there is a physical reason why naturally born biological females go through that monthly curse. And so we're going to be talking about those reasons today so you can better understand, if you are a woman, if you are a female, what is happening to your body when you are experiencing real pain, not pretend pain, not imagined pain, not it's all in your head pain, but very real pain that can make life really miserable for some. So the first thing we're going to do in this show is we're going to explain menstruation. And I encourage that person who said they get cramps every month, if they're watching, to please watch this and listen and learn what causes those cramps every month in a biological, naturally born female. So you'll understand that what you are supposedly experiencing, how about no? You don't have the body parts to create this experience. So here's an explanation of what happens during menstruation.
Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and though we may share a planet and many other similarities, our bodies function in some majorly different ways. In this video, we'll take a look at some of those differences unique to women. Women between the ages of 12 and 50 years old undergo a monthly cycle in which their uterus prepares for pregnancy. It prepares for a fertilized egg to settle and grow into a baby. If pregnancy does not occur, the lining breaks down and is expelled from the uterus. This is known as menstruation. The menstrual cycle usually lasts about 28 days. During this period, women undergo drastic hormonal fluctuations as well as physical discomforts such as abdominal cramps, headaches, backaches, and general nausea. This has led to it being colloquially referred to as the curse. The first stage of the cycle is menstruation and occurs if the egg has not been fertilized. This lasts between 3 to 7 days and is more commonly known as a period. Because the egg has not been fertilized, the uterus lining, called the endometrium, is not needed, and hence it breaks down and is lost through the vaginal canal with some blood. The next stage is known as ovulation, and is when the woman is most fertile. After menstruation, the lining of the uterus thickens up again in preparation for a fertilized egg, and inside the ovary, a follicle develops. At about 14 days into the cycle, an egg is released from the follicle in the ovaries, and fertilization could take place. If the egg is fertilized and embeds itself in the thick uterine lining, the lining is not shed, and thus menstruation does not occur, and the woman becomes pregnant. If it doesn't manage to embed, then the lining will break down and menstruation will occur and the cycle is repeated. The menstrual cycle is controlled by two main hormones, estrogen and progesterone. We met these hormones in this video. Estrogen is produced by the ovaries and causes the uterus lining, the endometrium, to thicken again after menstruation so that it is ready to receive an embryo. Progesterone is produced by the empty follicle in the ovary. See how it is produced after the egg has been released and then drops off if the egg does not embed in the uterus or if the egg is unfertilized. But if the egg is fertilized and embeds, then progesterone levels stay high for the first 6.5 months of pregnancy. The follicle continues to produce it and a placenta is formed. So estrogen builds up the uterus lining and progesterone maintains it during the second half of the menstrual cycle. There are two other hormones also involved: the follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH, and the luteinizing hormone, or LH. Both FSH and LH are secreted by the pituitary gland. FSH causes the egg to mature in the ovary, and it also stimulates the ovaries to release estrogen. The estrogen then stops FSH being produced, so that only one egg matures in the cycle. LH causes the mature egg to be released from the ovary and stimulates the release of progesterone. You may want to browse the internet to learn more about these hormones. So from this video, you should now have a better understanding of how the menstrual cycle works, how the main hormones estrogen and progesterone control it, and how a woman's body is affected by these drastic changes.
Okay, I understand we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm. Good afternoon,
Hi.
world. Good afternoon, Bahamas. Ms. Malcolm, the same topic you're on, and I didn't even know you was going to have this topic today, Wednesday. I'm happy to be here. But in Freeport, Grand Bahama, I don't know if you acknowledge yet where the books from 1 to 9 transgender books is going to be on our school curricula. The books is here now. Before the school open up, it's here now. We wondering if this going to be in the school curricula. Who's going to be teaching these people, students, these things, or the book transgender book from one to 9, and how the books got here. And we acknowledge that the vice president was here, and whatever deal they made, now the book's here. The same thing you're talking about, now they're bringing more deeper now. They're going to the churn now. Now, Ms. Malcolm, the Bahamas want to know, and Grand Bahama want to know how these books got here, and who's going to be teaching these kids these things about transgender in our school, because the books are already here, and they're going in the main bookstore in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Not even people selling to the house or anything. They're going to have them in the main bookstore. So what we do, and I don't know if you have knowledge about it, Ms. Malcolm, and I know this show today is the same thing. what's going on, Miss Malcolm? What we gonna do?
Okay. That's not what the show is about today. Okay, that's another show. Today
Yes,
is a Wellness Wednesday show. I'm focusing on the female reproductive system and what we go through each month, and the role of estrogen. That's what the show's about.
You mentioned transgender, but so it's the same thing.
Yes, I only mentioned that to set up what I'm talking about today.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
that's not the subject of my show today.
Well, I just want to know if you acknowledge that. That's all.
No, because that's not what I'm talking about today. That's another show.
Well, you have a good day. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for calling. That's with all due respect. I'm not saying that it's not worthy of discussion, but that's not what my show is about today. My show is a wellness show today. I only used that to set up where I was going with this show, which is to talk about the anatomy of the woman, the female reproductive system, why women go through what they go through every month. I only use that as an example to set up what we're going to be talking about today. What you're talking about, I'm not saying it's not important, but that's another show. That's not what my show is about today. Okay, so another day we will look at that. All right, so let's get back to the basics of what I'm talking about today. That video would have clearly explained what causes a woman to bleed every month, the process that is involved in this cycle, what causes her to have cramps every month, and we're going to go into more details about that, especially because, like I said at the beginning of the show, a lot of women suffered for many years with people not even thinking that they were having cramps because doctors couldn't figure out why it was happening. So typical, they dismissed it as, oh, it's not really happening, it's in your head. And no, now we know it is a physical, very real condition. And for some women, they suffer more than others, depending on what is happening with their health. And so this is a health-related wellness topic today. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it confused. So we now know, based on that last video, the physiology involved, the biology involved, the anatomy that is necessary for a woman to go through this every month. Now, why is it that some women or some girls, because this starts from as young as 12, y'all, and this can go on for a woman until she gets in her late 40s, early 50s, from the age of 12, we deal with this every month. So why is it that for some women, they literally have to take to bed, and others, it's not pleasant, but bearable? Well, a lot of it has to do with the amount of estrogen that is in your body. Because estrogen, as you would have learned in that last video, plays a very important role in the menstrual cycle. Okay? But it's important that estrogen is balanced. And if you have an imbalance, or what they call estrogen dominance, you're going to have a rough time every month. So we're going to, the rest of the videos, I believe, with the exception of one, will be from Dr. Berg. And these videos are going to focus mostly on estrogen dominance, explaining it, what causes it, what you can do to minimize the impact of it, and why you need to be careful for those of you who are entering menopause, why you need to consider very carefully whether or not you want to go down the road of estrogen replacement therapy. Because as you're going to learn during this show, that is not necessarily a very good thing to do. Your body was created to work in a particular way. Nature knows what it's doing. And when you start tampering with nature, because you don't fully understand how it works, and so you figure that you're smarter than nature, and you can trick nature into getting the body. No, your body is smarter than you think. And you could end up doing more harm to the body than good by trying to fix a natural occurrence in the life cycle of a woman. Not a trans woman, not a, what they call us, not a cis woman. I never hear so much foolishness in all my life. I mean, I know that we like to put labels on everything nowadays, but don't be trying to label me with foolishness. I'm a woman. Okay? And we're going to call it for what it is today, from a biological, scientific perspective. All right? So we're going to take a break. On the other side of this break, we're going to talk about what is estrogen dominance, what causes it, how we can avoid it, how we can better manage it. And I want you guys to stick around because we're going to have some fun near the end of the show where we're going to let some men experience what it's like to really have a period pain. It's going to be hilarious. All right, so stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. This is GPS on a Wellness Wednesday.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. It's a Wellness Wednesday, and that means that we're going to be talking about a matter that is of importance to your health. Today's topic is, it's not all in your head. We're talking about the very real pain of menstruation and what causes it. We're talking about the reproductive cycle for women. Like I said, men, don't tune out, because anybody who lives with a woman who goes through this every month, you know, it could be a very interesting time in the house. But once you understand why, it may help you to better understand what is happening with her and why she is responding the way she's responding every month. So, telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, the WhatsApp line for messages and calls, 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live to our Facebook official pages, Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5. Also streaming live to our YouTube channels. And you can catch us on People Bahamas, channel 974. Download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And of course, you can tune in by way of radio. And I welcome, as always, all of you who are tuned in that way, whether it is within the Bahamas or without, whatever way you found your way here. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon. So, in case you tuned in late, please like and share the show. We're talking about what women, real women, yeah, I said it, go through every month because of something called the menstrual cycle. Now, this begins, generally speaking, I mean, it's different for everybody, but generally speaking, it begins around the age of 12. And this can go on in a woman's life unless she becomes pregnant or has a hysterectomy, or there's some other medical condition that could cause an interruption in her flow. If she's a generally healthy woman, this can go on until she hits about the age of 45 to 50, some even later. And so this is what we're talking about today. A major part of this is estrogen. Estrogen dominance plays a role as to why some women have a better time at it than others. And in this clip, we're going to understand the role of estrogen.
Today we're going to talk about estrogen in relationship to the female cycle, something that's extremely common yet very misunderstood. So let's just break it down. First of all, let's talk about what a hormone is. Hormones are communications that are created and sent through the blood system. So they're created by the gland, sent through the blood, and they connect into a part of the tissue that has receptors for that specific hormone. Like right now, I'm talking to you through the computer, into your speaker, into your ear, and you're receiving that information. If I was speaking another language, that would be like a different hormone. So the receiver has to understand the language for what it's being received by. So estrogen has receptors in the liver, in the uterus, in the bone, in the brain, in the ovary. So it can even go from ovary to ovary as well. So basically we have the glands, and glands, the difference between a gland and an organ is glands make hormones. Organs don't, with the exception of the liver. The liver does make a hormone. So, but typically glands make hormones sent through the blood and get received over here to create some effect. So hormones are communications. The one we're going to talk about today is estrogen. Every month, one of your ovaries runs the show and sends the hormones into the blood on a 28-day cycle. So at day 14, you have this spike of estrogen, and then it goes down, and this is ovulation, when you're the most fertile. And then another hormone that the ovary produces called progesterone increases as well, and then at day 28, that's when you have the menstrual cycle, and then this thing starts over and over and over again. So based on when you have the problem during the 28-day cycle, we can kind of tell where your issue is, because a lot of women a week before their period start getting like, they feel like they're pregnant, and they're just like all this fluid retention, their belly sticks out. Well, we know that's progesterone versus estrogen. If the problem is during ovulation, then we know it's definitely estrogen. If it's during your cycle, we know it's estrogen. So the effects that estrogen create in the cell, whether it's the liver, the uterus, or wherever, or the breast tissue, can affect the breast, the size of the breast. That's why if there's a problem with estrogen, you can have tenderness in the breast or cysts in the breast. The uterus, the menstrual cycle, your sex drive, the DNA. So estrogen affects the DNA, the transcription of the blueprints. So estrogen can send a message into the DNA and tell parts of your body to grow and get bigger. All right? So that's why it affects the DNA. And that's why it can create tumors. We'll get to that in a little bit. Estrogen affects the shape of your body. It feminizes the body, and that's why it gives the lower part, the hips, a shape. It gives the curve on a female body. That's why women have a layer of fat, a superficial fat, that men don't have in the lower part of their bodies. Well, some men do, but most don't. So it gives you the shape, and so if there's too much estrogen, you're going to get too much heavy lower part of your body. The bone, it affects the bone, it affects the cognitive, the brain, it affects the electrolytes in the kidneys, the potassium-sodium ratio. So you can see it has many, many different effects, but the function of the ovary is to send hormones into different parts, and then 1 month, one of the ovaries will do all the work, and then the other month, the other ovary does produces the ovulation. So they alternate back and forth between left and right ovary. So depending on what part of your body you have low back pain on, it could be like the right lower part of the back, and the next week it's like no pain. And then it could be the right side, then we know the right ovary could be producing too much estrogen. So they alternate. Or even sometimes you'll get acne on the one side of your face versus the other side. So again, the ovary produces these hormones that create all sorts of different effects in the body.
Yeah. So those of you who would have experienced this or are going through this now, that explains a lot. You know, why, especially the thing about the acne around the edge of the face, and why sometimes it's on the left and sometimes it's on the right. Why you might tend to get tender breasts during this time. And it definitely impacts your mood. So, you know, I think it is very dismissive when people say, oh, she's hormonal. But that's actually true. Your hormones are going through changes during this time. And this is a natural thing based on the way God designed our bodies, because our reproductive systems were designed for us to reproduce. And so you do go through these hormonal changes every month in preparation for the fertilization of that egg and the carrying of that baby. So if the egg is not fertilized, then the body has to find a way to get rid of it. And the way it gets rid of it is through this monthly challenge, this monthly experience that women go through. So this explains a lot. And gentlemen, I urge you to keep watching so you'll get a better understanding of what your wife, what your sister, what your mother, what your daughter is going through. And hopefully that'll give you a little bit more grace towards them if they seem to lose their mind every month. Because for some people, it is really a very debilitating condition based on how much estrogen is being produced. If they have a real imbalance where estrogen dominance is a real problem, it will affect them in multiple ways, both physically and emotionally. And it's not that they're seeking attention. It's not that they're being drama queens. It's not that they just miserable. No, their bodies are going through real physical changes every month. And I dare say, gentlemen, that if y'all have to go through this every month, I mean, some of y'all miserable just for the sake of being miserable. Don't come for me today. It was a joke. But if y'all had to go through this every month, what women have to go through every month, yeah, I think God in his infinite wisdom knew why he appointed the female to have to deal with this. Because men, I dare say that if y'all had to deal with this, we probably wouldn't have a human race anymore. Because y'all can't handle pain. And just a lot of what women go through, men can't handle. And I thought it was important to do this show today so you can understand what is really happening and put a little bit more respect behind the way you treat a woman or a young lady when she's going through this. You know, deal with it with a little bit more grace, because it's a very real condition that affects her physically, as you will learn, and emotionally. Okay? So it's not just in their heads. They're not just being miserable for the sake of being miserable. It's a very real thing. So the next question we need to be asking is, what causes estrogen dominance? If estrogen dominance is at the center of all of these massive changes, there must be something that causes that. I dare say that I believe, let me put it that way, that if we were in the perfect world where we weren't being exposed to so many toxins and genetically modified foods and, stresses of life, if everybody was walking in perfect health, and the world was as it was at the beginning, I do not believe that women would have such a hard time as they do going through what we go through every month. And I'm not talking about childbirth, because, the Bible talks about, if you believe in the Bible talks about how the pain of childbirth came about. I'm just talking about the monthly situation that women go through, or what some call the curse. I believe that if we were living in a perfect world where there was good quality organic food, where the air was clean, where we're not being bombarded with toxins and stress and all these other things, if our diets were better, if our living environments were better, this problem would probably not exist. But there are many things that contribute to estrogen dominance, external and internal. So let's talk about that. Here once again is Dr. Eric Berg talking about what causes estrogen dominance. Because remember now, estrogen dominance is the culprit that causes a lot of the discomfort. So what actually is behind that? What causes estrogen dominance?
So the next question is, what causes estrogen dominance? Well, the first thing is our environmental. First of all, we are in an environment that's so bathed with so much estrogen that, I mean, it's everywhere. It's in the pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, heavy metals, country and western. No, it's a bad joke. And then you have DDT. Now, DDT was banned in 1971, yet we're finding it in our adipose tissue, our fat tissue, and even in kids. Why? Because we're not able to use it in the U.S., but we're able to sell it to third world countries where we buy our fruits and vegetables in the winter. So it comes right back and goes right into our body. DDT mimics estrogen. So environmentally, they call it endocrine disruptors, which are really chemicals in the environment that mimic estrogen. And our cells can receive or pick up, the tissues can receive these chemicals and they can act like estrogen. And that's why a lot of the books on toxicology, the study of poisons, show the relationship between these chemicals, pesticides and things, and hormone disruption. So we have that, number one. HRT, hormone replacement therapy, used to be called estrogen replacement therapy, but they found estrogen causes cancer. So what they did is they add a little bit of progesterone to buffer it, which did decrease the cancer risk by some amount, and then they call it hormone replacement therapy. But these estrogens that are synthetic, which are made from horse urine, pregnant horses, are a lot different than our bodies. Our bodies as humans were not designed to be exposed to horse estrogens. So it does create a lot of problems for females when they have to take HRT. And then birth control pills, estrogen. The next one is soy, specifically soy protein isolates. 95% of soy protein isolates are genetically modified. But they're putting this type of protein, it's kind of a new protein, in the breakfast cereals, in the baby food, in the protein bars, in the diet shakes. A lot of these diets use the soy protein isolates because it's a cheap type of protein. Dr. McDougall, MD, has found that soy protein isolates can influence fibroids and tumors in the liver. Okay, progesterone decreases. We talked about that in the last section. Really, when you start losing your period around premenopause or perimenopause, you can then have a problem with decreased progesterone and relative increased estrogen because they work on a reciprocal basis. So that can also be one of the problems that we're dealing with. And so we also have liver problems. Now, the liver is where you actually detoxify estrogen, too much of it. So if that liver's healthy, you can get rid of a lot of this extra estrogen. But if you're starting to get constipation and gallbladder problems and liver toxicity because your diet's really crappy, you're not going to be able to break down this excess estrogen, and that could be another culprit to estrogen dominance. So these are some of the common causes of estrogen dominance.
Take away from that, I thought it was very interesting how he was talking about how they banned the substance in the United States, selling it to third world countries. And then ironically, the third world countries, whether they know it or not, are sending the poison right back to the United States because it's and what they spray on the foods. I think that's just poetic justice, right? But as we heard, there are many things that can lead to this problem, both internal and external. Our environment plays a major role in this. And so we have to understand that in order for us to make life a little easier, we have to become very vigilant in our approach to what we put into our bodies, whether it be trying to eat organically grown fruits and vegetables, whether we try to minimize the amount of toxins that we take in on a regular basis. All of these things play a major role in our estrogen levels and thereby in our body's response every month to what should be um, a normal part of life for a female, a woman. The fact that you are or may be experiencing very, very heavy periods or very painful periods, that's not the way it ideally should be. And that's usually an indication of something not being right, whether it be a hormonal imbalance like too much estrogen or another condition that could lead to prolonged bleeding, heavy bleeding, um, very bad cramps, and to the point where it's debilitating. That's not normal. It should not be that way. And I know for many women, many females, because they're so used to it, they think that this is normal, but it's not. It is definitely not the way your body was designed to behave. So if you're going through that, you need to find out what is actually causing that, what is actually happening within your body um, that could be leading to that. I mean, think about it for those of you who are sexually active and how long you've been on the birth control pill. Um, that could be impacting your estrogen levels more likely than not. Think about how many of you are consuming soy products, thinking that this is a good thing. I know I fell into that trap. I was consuming soy milk for years, thinking I was doing my body good, only to come to find out that it had a negative impact on my hormonal levels, knocked my estrogen levels out of whack. So we have to educate ourselves, men and women, to better understand how this hormonal balance thing works. Because the more balanced your hormones, the less likely you will turn into the monster every month that everybody's walking around eggshells because they're afraid to cross your path during your time of the month. But again, it's not all in your head. I want to keep repeating that. And gentlemen, those of you who are sticking around and watching this show, I need you to understand this. This is a very real physical condition that the woman in your life is going through. And so my goal today is to present you with information that will help you to really, better manage this or understand this if it's happening to someone else. I have to tell you this because in our next segment, we're going to talk about the dangers of estrogen replacement therapy. And for those of you who aren't familiar, when a woman gets to be a certain age, after all of those years of going through her monthly period, she's rewarded with menopause, which has its own challenges. And depending on many factors, some including your diet, your lifestyle, your exposure to toxins, your stress level, many things can contribute to it. For some women, menopause is pretty rough. There are some women who don't go through all of what many go through. Back in the day, before all of the introduction of all of these toxins and everything else, menopause would only last maybe a couple of weeks. This is how it was designed. But now, you're talking about menopause stretching over years. And you're talking about women going through some really, really annoying symptoms as a result of menopause. I will use myself as an example when I was going through it. I know all of y'all know a woman who having hot flashes as a result of menopause, right? So you're sitting there and all of a sudden the furnace turns up, but not from like how everybody can feel the heat on the outside right now, right? Everybody talking about how hot it is. Imagine that furnace being turned on inside of you. And it's literally coming out of you. And you can't control it. I will give you an example of what I went through one time. A funny story, but true story. I was sitting in my hairdresser's chair. J.D. Edwards Salon, by the way, Sonia Lang, one of the best in the business. And I feel this hot flash coming on. And I'm thinking in my mind that I'm the only one who is feeling this. So she's doing my hair. And then she says to me, because let me explain what the hot flash is like. It starts and you can feel it coming and it just keeps building and building and building, this internal fire. Okay? So that's why you will see a woman going through menopause and all of a sudden she's sweating. Everybody else could be cold, but the sweat pouring off of her because it's not coming from the outside, but from the inside. So I'm sitting in my hairdresser here, in my hairdresser shop. She's doing my hair, and I feel this hot flash coming on. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. But I'm not saying anything. I'm not making a big deal out of it. All of a sudden, my hairdresser says to me, are you okay? I said, yeah, why? She says, why do I feel heat coming out the top of your head? She said, I can feel the heat coming out of your head. I was like, oh my God, you can feel that? She said, oh my God, yes. And that's when I learned that this wasn't just, something that it literally comes out of your body. It's like you're pushing out this heat. She could literally feel the heat coming out of my head. I'm like, oh my God. But that's not the way it was intended to be. Back in the day, before all of this bombardment with all of the toxins and the environmental problems and everything else that we deal with in the modern world, a couple of weeks, women went through that without all of the drama and all of the madness and literal madness, because for some women it's so bad that they feel like they literally are losing their minds. But again, this is all a very physical condition. So we're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about the dangers of estrogen replacement, because what happens now when women start going through those menopausal symptoms, they go to the doctor. What does the doctor say? Oh, we just need to give you some estrogen replacement therapy. That's not the way our bodies were designed. So you think you're doing one thing good by eliminating those, flashes or whatever, by reintroducing estrogen to the body. And your body's like, what the hell is this? This ain't how we supposed to be operating here. So, of course, there's going to be an effect from that action. So let's take this break. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk about why you need to be not so quick to run to get estrogen replacement therapy if, in fact, you are facing that. Stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rib, pinch, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS on this Wellness Wednesday. Michelle Malman in your company. Today we're talking about it's not all in your head, the very real condition, real physical condition that causes some women to have a really difficult menstruation or menopause based on their hormonal levels. The numbers to call in case you want to ask a question or make a comment are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live to Facebook, the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. You can also check us out on our YouTube channels. And you can also find us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. Download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device. Check us out there. And of course, you can listen by way of radio, 99.5 on the FM dial. Thank you for tuning in from here in New Providence. Hey, all of you out of Grand Bahama. Hello, hello, hello. And thank you for those of you who are tuned in from around the archipelago and around the world. So it's not all in your head, ladies. Gentlemen, it's not all in their head. Okay? They ain't being miserable just for the sake of being miserable. It's a very real condition, very real changes that the body goes through that can impact a woman physically and emotionally. And so this is what we're talking about on this show today. Now, as I would have mentioned prior to the break, when you would have gone through this for so many years, whether you would have had children during those years or not, eventually, God in his infinite mercy decided not to let women go through this indefinitely. So there is a window of opportunity for having children. And once that window is closed, apart from the miracle of, artificial insemination, where a woman can take another woman's fertilized egg and still carry the baby for her, after a certain age, women stop producing eggs. And estrogen levels are impacted by that. And then we start going through menopause. And menopause ain't fun either. You know, uh, some people say, when a woman says, it's kind of hard because men especially don't understand this, but after going through your period for so many years, from the age of 12 to the age of 45, 50 years old, every month you're going through this, unless, like I said, there's some physical condition or pregnancy that would otherwise cause you not to go through it. But imagine for all of those years, you're going through this. You sort of get used to it, where it becomes a part of who you are, part of your life. It's just what we women go through. And then you find yourself faced with another change where you're saying goodbye to that and hello to the problems that you experience with menstruation, menopause. So that could mean a loss of libido. And this is the big one, particularly in marriages or long-term relationships where men don't seem to understand that there's a reason why physically your significant other may have lost interest in having intercourse. It's not because she don't love you anymore. It's not because she must be seeing somebody else. She's going through physical changes, literally physical changes that can impact libido because the hormones now are going through changes. So you may find where she loses her desire for intimacy. She may be having problems like a dry vagina, which makes intimacy even more uncomfortable. So apart from the loss of desire, now you have this physical condition that makes it painful. So she just doesn't want to go through that. She could be going through these debilitating hot flashes. It could cause real emotional imbalances. I've seen women going through menopause, and it's like almost like they're losing their minds. Menopause can be a very serious time in a woman's life, and depending on her health and what she's been exposed to for so many years. I mean, a lot of women right here in this country don't have such a hard time at it. Many of them are on a vegan lifestyle. They say when you eat meat, it can make it even worse. And I suppose that's because many of the meats that we're eating, and we're going to talk about foods in a bit during the show, but if the foods that you're eating, let's say you eat red meat, if that cow was fed things that impact estrogen levels, it doesn't just disappear when that cow is slaughtered. So you may be eating steak from a cow that was eating a lot of soy. That gets into your system and causes changes in your body. We're going to get into that more in detail a little later in the show. So all of these things we have to take into consideration when we're talking about how to minimize the impact of hormonal imbalances, like too much estrogen or not enough estrogen when we get into the later years of life, and your body realizes no more eggs coming, and it starts to put you through these other changes. So what happens now to the woman who has gone through all of those years of menstruation and is now entering the phase of menopause, whether it's perimenopause, premenopause, menopause itself? A lot of women just don't want to deal with that discomfort and the physical complications, if you want to call it that, of going through menopause. They just don't want to deal with it. So the first thing they do is they go to the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, we can do something about this. Have no fear. We've got the solution. We're going to give you estrogen replacement therapy. So all of the estrogen that you would have lost because you're no longer producing eggs, the body has no reason to go through that process. So the body, in its wisdom, makes an adjustment of the levels of estrogen because you don't need so much of it anymore. But now you're having these other, debilitating symptoms. Now people could feel the heat coming out the top of your head. So a lot of women don't want to deal with that. And they're like, I just can't. I just can't. And so they go to their doctor, and the doctor says, no problem. We're going to put you on estrogen replacement therapy. I want you to think twice before you run to do that. Now, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I ain't trying to be a doctor. I'm not pretending to be a doctor. I don't play a doctor on TV. I'm not a doctor. Okay? So that disclaimer. And if you choose to take that advice, that's your choice. I'm just giving you information so that you can make a more informed decision. Because you need to realize that introducing something into your system that is so unnatural, like estrogen replacement therapy, very possibly could lead to other symptoms down the road. So don't go into it blindly, thinking that it's the answer to all of your problems, and then you creating other problems as a result of going down that route. Somebody's got to say it. So here now is a clip once again from Dr. Bird. And in this clip, he's going to be talking about what happens when you go through estrogen replacement therapy, what it does to the body.
So I want to make one point about menopause. I have a lot of clients that tell me, well, I'm running out of estrogen because I'm going through menopause, so therefore I need to take estrogen, in the thoughts that if they don't, they're going to end up with Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, and get really old, and heart disease. In fact, there's very little research of that. I would love to find some research. So the next time someone tells you that, ask for the research. It's not really there. See, you have a backup organ. During menopause, the adrenal glands on top of your kidney produce the same hormones as the ovaries do. Not in the same quantity, but the same hormones. So what's supposed to happen naturally in nature is the ovaries shut down, or they stop working, and then all this work is done on the adrenals. What we're seeing is this. People going into menopause with burnt out adrenals, everything, they're not able to back up those ovaries effectively, and then they end up with all these problems with hot flashes, night sweats, and vaginal dryness, and a lot of weight gain because now the adrenals have to work harder and they get this bigger stomach and belly fat. So really, if there's a problem with adrenals before menopause, it's exaggerated after menopause. Okay, so they go from one problem to a worse problem. And then people take what's called, they start taking hormones, and the problem, there's side effects to that. And even the bioidentical hormones, here's the problem I have with taking bioidentical hormones. Remember we talked about the gland that makes hormones. Hormones are the communications. The gland is the thing that makes the hormones, and it's sent over here to something else. Instead of focusing on the hormone, where basically the problem is not really the hormone, it's the gland. Very few people support the thing that makes the hormone. Because when you take even bioidentical hormones, you actually inactivate your own gland that makes that hormone. Same thing with the thyroid. When you're taking thyroid medication or thyroid hormones, your gland doesn't have to produce, so it goes to sleep over time. You shrivel it up. So that's why I'm not crazy about people jumping and start taking hormones, because you're going to then shut down your own body's ability to make it. What you should do is take a look at how you can support the gland. Okay, we'll get to that in the next section.
Very, 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 very important, ladies and gentlemen. Remember now, your body is a system that is interconnected. One system affects the other. So it's not like your MD would have you believe that if you go to them with a particular system or a particular symptom, I should say, they zone in on that particular symptom without the apparent understanding that, like the dominoes that fall one by one, that system or that symptom is a part of a system that is impacted and impacts other systems in the body. It's not just like this individual bag of tricks, but no, you're talking about a complete system that is supposed to flow and work together. And so when you talk about disrupting a particular system or making changes to a particular system in the body, that is not isolated to that particular system. So your body was not designed by God to have estrogen put back into it when it goes into the phase of menopause. Your adrenals are supposed to kick in because remember now, you don't need as much estrogen because you don't have eggs that are possible to be fertilized. So you're not going through the whole menstruation thing. So you really don't need that much estrogen, but you decide based on the medical advice that you're given, because you don't want to go through all of the symptoms of menopause, which are probably worse with you because of all these other factors like environmental factor, the foods that you're eating, etc., the burnt out adrenals. So now, instead of fixing that problem, no, you go for the easy fix. And I'm not blaming you women because most doctors will point you in this direction. You go for the easy fix of replacing that estrogen that your body is no longer producing, but your body is not on the same page with that. Your body did not get the memo. So you're doing something that's completely foreign to what is supposed to happen in nature, and then we act all brand new and surprised when you have even worse side effects because you decided to go against nature and do something that your body can't relate to. Your body didn't get that memo. So you really don't want to be running out there. And again, I'm not a doctor. So if you decide that this is what your doctor has told you and that's what you're going to do, that on you. I just want you to make a better informed decision and understand that that is not an isolated system, that there will be an effect on your body once you go down that route. The way nature intended it is always the better way to go. And this is why we get excited about what we do as holistic health coaches, where we encourage you to get the body to do what it was designed to do, the way nature intended it. And you would have a far better quality of life, quality of health, if you did that, as opposed to if you go the unnatural route of hormone replacement therapy or doing things that the body's not, the body's like, what is this now? What next? We have done such a horrific job at the way we treat our bodies. And I get it. It's for lack of knowledge. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. This is especially true when it comes to our bodies and the way our bodies operate, the way our bodies function. We have treated our bodies with such disrespect. And that's the very word I want to use, disrespect. That it's any wonder that many of us are still walking around. I mean, it's all right disrespect when a doctor says to you, unless you have a situation like appendicitis where your appendix literally bursts and they have to remove it because the toxins that toxins from that would kill you. But generally speaking, when you go to see a doctor about a particular symptom, if they can't figure out how to fix that, oftentimes they tell you, oh, we can just take it out and replace it with, synthetic medication. Or we could just medicate you to the point where we block your body's ability to perform that function and then just have the synthetic thing do it for you. And how many kids had their tonsils taken out, for example, because their tonsils became inflamed and the doctors couldn't figure out, especially back in my day, the doctors couldn't figure out why the tonsils kept becoming infected and inflamed. So what do? They take them out. They took mine out. I used to have problems with tonsillitis, and they eventually said, oh, you don't need your tonsils. And I took them out. But I dare say that the tonsils weren't just put in your body to take up space. They had a function to play. They had a role to play, and that's why they were there. But as opposed to trying to figure out how to stop the infections, what's causing the infections, what do? They take them out. And that creates other problems down the road. So we have to be more respectful to our bodies and understand that our bodies were created the way they were created for a reason. There is purpose in the creation of our bodies and the way that our bodies are designed to function. Our bodies are purposeful in the way that they are designed to function. One system affects the other. So don't think that you, in all your evolved wisdom, and don't get me wrong, what they often believed back in the days relates to health and their limited knowledge. We look at today and say, oh my God, they were killing people, right? So I'm not knocking the knowledge that the medical professionals have gained over the years to better understand some conditions. Thank God. Thank God. Because some of the treatment options back many years ago, they literally killed people in their efforts to try to treat them. But in many ways, many of the systems that could be fixed holistically by better understanding what caused the problem in the first place were removed or significantly damaged because of a lack of knowledge. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. And as Pastor Miles always used to say, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. So just because you don't understand a particular thing doesn't mean that that particular thing doesn't have a role to play. And chances are you're going to abuse that thing because of your lack of understanding of it. So, that being said, be careful with estrogen replacement therapy. Okay? That could be detrimental because it is going to impact other systems of the body. So, I know what you're saying, Michelle, you of all people should know how bad this is, and you expect me to just suffer through this, and what you expect me to do? Gotta do something. Well, there are some things that you can do, more from an holistic standpoint than from a pharmaceutical standpoint. And remember now, nature is always the best way to go. If there's a natural way that you can deal with something, that is typically speaking always better for you than going the pharmaceutical route. So in this clip, Dr. Berg talks about the 4 solutions that he recommends for persons who are going through this difficult time.
There are 4 solutions that I recommend. phytoestrogens. That would be all those vegetables that people never eat, like the cruciferous vegetables, kale.
Okay, let's see if we can get this to play again. My
There
apologies.
are 4 solutions that I recommend. Phytoestrogens, that would be all those vegetables that people never eat, like the cruciferous vegetables, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. Those foods are anti-estrogenic, which means they help balance your estrogens. They're not going to decrease the good estrogens. They're going to balance any bad, and they protect against cancer. And again, as far as the solution, this is my disclaimer. I'm not telling you that any of these will help you with any diseases, will prevent any diseases. I'm not telling you these are going to treat a disease. So check with your doctor with that. That's my disclaimer, okay? These are just things that can help support a healthy menstrual cycle, okay? All right, so we got phytoestrogens. Very few people have enough of those. I highly recommend start eating those. That's why the kale shake is so important. If you have not done the kale shake, go to drbird.com, the front page, and scroll down and download that eating plan, because it shows you how to make the kale shakes every morning. It's a no-brainer. Everyone should be on that kale shake. Avoid estrogens. Well, here's the thing. I'm not telling you to come off your medication. Check with your doctor, but start avoiding estrogens. In the food supply, you have hormones in all the butter, the cheese, the milk, the dairy, the beef, the chicken, the turkey. So have foods that are hormone-free, all right? Because there's estrogen in those foods. Also, have more organic vegetables. Now, if you cannot afford it, at least don't buy the ones from Chile and Mexico. Buy vegetables that are in the country. That way you don't get the DDT, all right? Because you don't know if there's DDT on there or not. It's just a big mystery. So we want to avoid estrogens. We want to support the gland. And then we want to eat foods that support the liver. And that's why in my book, The 7 Principles of Fat Burning, I talk, the first eating plan that everyone does is the liver enhancement. Why? Because that way we can support the liver. The liver can then balance any excess of estrogen that shouldn't be there. So the foods that support the liver also support estrogen, because there are certain things in the liver that regulate estrogen or buffer excessive toxic amounts of estrogen. So those are 4 very simple things you should focus on to help your situation and your cycle.
All right. So not to fair, we are definitely going to talk about some of the foods that you need to be careful of that are high in estrogen. I'm not going to leave you hanging and tell you to watch what you eat and then don't give you any idea of what you should avoid. So we are definitely going to talk about that. But we got to pay some bills, y'all. Got to give my props to my sponsors who helped to make this show possible. So let's take this break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to be talking about high estrogen foods that you should avoid if you are going through the discomfort, of the menstrual cycle. Now, don't go anywhere, because later on in the show, we're going to play a hilarious video of men getting to get a feel, literally, for what women go through on a monthly basis. It is really funny. So stay with us. All of that is straight ahead on GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM on this Wellness Wednesday. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. Today we're talking about it's not all in your head, ladies, real women out there. This is a very physical condition that often leads to emotional responses. I'm talking about the menstrual cycle and what follows the menstrual cycle, specifically menopause. It's a very real physical condition that impacts women and the men in their lives, unfortunately. And I think it was a worthy conversation to have, so that ladies, you can understand what your body's going through, and men, you can understand why they are reacting or behaving the way that they are while they're going through that. And just, treat them with a little bit more grace. All right. So the telephone numbers to call, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, the WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook, on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. You can also check us out on YouTube, and you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device. Check us out there, or you can watch us on cable, Bahamas Channel 974. Tune in by way of radio, of course. Welcome to all of you from wherever you are listening. I appreciate you being here today. Okay, it's not all in your head, ladies. It's not all in your head. You have a very intelligent body that was designed to operate in a particular way once you give it what it needs to function optimally. And a part of the challenge that many women go through is that they have what is called a hormonal imbalance every single month, or for, in some cases, years while they're going through menopause. Your hormonal levels, particularly estrogen levels, change. And this leads to physical changes. This is why some women who are menopausal, they get thick around the waist. And then, you have people say, oh, why are you getting so big? And you just need to discipline yourself and stop eating so much. And why are you letting yourself go? And listen, man, I can tell you the way my mother used to tell me when I used to tease her when she was going through these physical changes with her body. And I would say, Yvonne, what happened to you? Why you get like this? And all she says, child, your time will come. So there's a reason why that person is gaining all that weight around at the waistline. Don't dismiss the woman and go get a younger, tighter version because she let herself go. And I'm not saying that women should not or cannot do more to try to mitigate some of that. But again, if you don't know, you just don't know. But it's not a matter of her being lazy or letting herself go and all these other things that people say. Oftentimes, it's a very real physical condition. And once you address the physical condition, then miraculously, she gets her body back. Now, there will be some degree of exercise involved in that, obviously. Mom, Roma, I lie. Roma says, say younger, tighter version. What is this, Michelle? I lie? Or, I telling the truth. Men are very visual. And some of them so shallow they get drowned in a cup of water. And so the first sign of her gaining out the weight around her waist, they looking for a reason to go look elsewhere. And all the time the woman going through physical changes because of what's happening in her body. So work with us. Encourage us to work a little bit harder to get rid of that fat around the waistline. And it is possible, I never thought that I could ever get back to the size I am in this life. I just thought that, for those of you who've known me for a little while, I gained a ton of weight. Yes, it was because I was being exposed to a toxin, and a part of it probably was going through menopause. But I gained like close to 70 pounds. And it wasn't because I was being lazy or greedy no. I was going through some very real physical challenges. And I, at one point, before I got all the knowledge that I have now, I just resigned to the fact that, okay, this is who you want. This is who you are now. You just could be big for the rest of your life. I had already resigned myself to that. And it wasn't until I got more information and I was like, oh, there is something that can be done about this. But a lot of people don't understand that. And so they've resigned to accept that that's just the way it is. But there is something you can do about it. Okay? So let's talk about that. Now, there's certain foods you need to avoid because these foods are actually contributing to the problem. Let's take a look at that.
So today we're going to talk about dairy and your menstrual cycle. So this doesn't pertain to men unless you want to share it with your wife or your girlfriend, but just not both at the same time. So that was my dry sense of humor. That was a joke. So what is the relationship between dairy and your menstrual cycle? Well, it comes down to this one hormone, estrogen, okay? Many people already have too much estrogen, and we are swimming in a sea of estrogen. A lot of pesticides, insecticides actually mimic estrogen. They're called endocrine disruptors or estrogen disruptors. So if we have too much estrogen and then we're consuming a product that is meant for a growing calf, which has additional hormones, it can sometimes create some issues, okay? Not just with your menstrual cycle, but with the breast tissue, uterus, and the ovary, and the prostate. So if you're noticing that you're having problems with hormones, you may want to avoid dairy for a while just to see if that's the culprit. Dairy has some other issues. Many people are lactose intolerant. They don't have the enzyme to break down the milk sugar, so they get a lot of digestive issues. They may have a casein allergy, and that can also create digestive issues. A lot of people have a problem with the protein in casein. It's called A1 in certain cows. Unless you find the one that's an A2, but that's more difficult, you may want to try cheese from either a goat or a sheep, and you'll get less of this A1 protein. And then you also have what they feed cows, okay? Grains, unless it's grass-fed, 100%. The grains, as in soy and corn, are usually GMO unless it's organic. So if you're consuming milk products from a cow that's not organic, chances are it has glyphosate residues, a lot more omega-6 fatty acids. It's more inflammatory. Now, another interesting point is the source of where you get the milk. So if you go in the farmer's market, you want to find out how they treat that cow. Let me just give you an example with the country Mongolia. An average amount of milk that they get from the cow per day is only 1.3 gallons. In the US, it's 9 gallons. Now, in Mongolia, they milk the cow for 5 to 6 months, okay? And in the US, they milk the cow for 10 months. And they use artificial insemination. As compared to Mongolia, they naturally get pregnant. And the amount of estrogen in milk from Mongolia is a fraction of that in the milk from the US. And realize this, my goal with these videos is not to keep telling you what you can't eat. It's just to bring up your awareness on certain areas that you may need to look at if you're having a problem with the menstrual cycle or the ovary or the breast tissue or the uterus tissue. So if you're going to go for cheese, go for the goat cheese or the sheep cheese. Or, better yet, the best option would be to move to Mongolia. Hey, if you're liking this content, please subscribe now, and I will actually keep you updated on future videos.
Most of us can't move to Mongolia, so that's not an option. So our best bet is to try to avoid the foods that could negatively impact your menstrual cycle, okay? Try to avoid those foods as much as possible. And again, some of these things we don't even think about. Who would have thought that the way cows are raised could have an impact on your estrogen levels or on your hormonal levels in general? Who would have thought? These are the type of things that, generally speaking, we don't think about. We just go, we look at the red meat, we say, oh, this looks good, and we go and buy that and be eating it. And, you know, have you ever stopped to think why little girls now, you know, generally speaking, it should be around the age of 12. Now, it does fluctuate for some. Some start later, some start a little earlier. But little girls now, 9 years old, getting their periods. Young little girls. This is not normal. Why? Because the foods that we are eating are swimming in estrogen. And so we're introducing all of these hormones into the bodies of these children. And remember now, your body ain't get the memo. That little girl body didn't get the memo. So it is responding to all of this increased estrogen. So we really have to be more aware of what we're putting into our bodies, because it is impacting us. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, our bodies are very intelligent and will respond either positively or negatively to what we put in it or what we are around in terms of the environment. So I've been promising you all this video. I want you all to relax while you're watching this video, because trust me, you'll have a good laugh. We're gonna take our final break, and then on the other side, I found an hilarious video. I mean, there are quite a few out there, but in this particular one that I chose, where men are experiencing what it's like to go through menstrual cramps using a simulator, because men could sometimes be, not all, but some men could be very insensitive to women who are going through this because they just don't understand it's a real physical thing. And so they, being very insensitive until they got to feel it. Don't go anywhere. You're going to, it's going to be a hoot. And to those of you listening by radio, I wish you could see this as well. But for those of you who tuned in on YouTube or Facebook or the app, you're in for a treat. So stay with us. We're going to take this break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to check on men trying to deal with what women deal with for many, many years of their lives. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted loud.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
$99.5.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Ah, boy, we're in for a treat. Okay. All show long, we've been talking about the physical effects that women go through. I'm starting with the menstrual cycle from as young as 12, some younger, and you deal with this every single month for years. And then you are rewarded with menopause. Yeah, it sucks. But anyway, I thought it would be interesting to show you a clip with men trying to get a feel for what it is like to go through what women go through on a monthly basis. Because many women have found over the years that, especially some years ago, that there wasn't very much sympathy or compassion or empathy for what they were dealing with every month. So, especially women who would have gone through difficult periods, you know, oh, she always calling in sick, and you know, she using this as an excuse. I mean, just really not having very much empathy or compassion for what women go through. So I think this is quite interesting to watch these fellas experience for a couple of minutes what women go through. And I think it's just hilarious. So check this out. This is a video of men trying to see if they can handle menstrual pain based on a simulator.
What is it at? Stop!
Let's try this out on myself first.
Alright, so we can answer if it hurts or not. Plug it in, plug it in.
I'm gonna ask you some questions just like he was asked. And if they're wrong, I will
Have you planned them already? Do you know what questions you're asking?
What kind of questions, yeah.
I'm kind of nervous.
Try this. Turn on 2 bars out of like maybe 10. It's like 20%.
Does it hurt?
It hurts.
Does it?
Very accurate.
It's accurate?
Yeah, and I'm upping it to 30, and this is like maybe my lightest day.
Oh no.
I'm taking it up to, oh my goodness, 50%, and this is probably like my second to last lightest day.
So now you believe that the machine works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, now your turn.
Oh god.
Your turn. Get ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's make the safe word be
Yellow.
yellow. Fine, yellow. 2 in the front.
Okay.
Back right here.
Give me there.
Alright. What is a period and why do people have them?
A period is what a girl has once a month when the lining of her uterus, when she's not pregnant, goes. Well, I don't know how to describe it. It exits her body.
Basically, the lining gets thicker to prepare for a fertilized egg. If the egg isn't fertilized, then it basically releases it.
Yes.
And that's why we get those cramps.
Yeah.
Does a menstruating person feel the blood flow?
Yes.
That's actually wrong.
That's wrong?
Yeah. The actual flow doesn't feel like it's happening, but we just feel it because our pads get dampened. Because of that, I'm gonna up it up a little bit.
Is it true? Oh, ah!
How's it feel now?
Bad.
And it's only a 30. And you saw right now that 50% was like my lightest day.
Yeah.
Does having a period hurt?
Yes.
And it's because of those cramps and the symptoms that we get.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That are uncomfortable for us. And then how much blood do you think we lose during our period in measurements of cups?
Oh my gosh. A cup and a half?
Wrong.
How much?
A quarter cup.
Oh.
A quarter cup.
God, I was guessing
It's only 40%.
bleed out or something. Oh my god.
I like this. And this is not even half the amount of pain that I experience.
You were doing it at 50 and you weren't even moving.
Yeah, because I'm used to it, so it's like not comfortable anymore. But now this is...
You got like 90? You put it at 50? I did not get that many questions wrong yet.
This is only at 50 right now. Alright, when will the average person stop having a period for good?
45.
Good! Usually in our late 40s and early 50s. And what is that time called when we stop?
Menopause.
Awesome. I'm only living at 50 right now.
Oh god, thank god for this tool. No! You put it up, didn't you?
I did, and it's only 60%.
Why'd you put it up?
Because I need you to experience what it feels
No,
like.
it was supposed to, I got the questions right. Oh my god, there's no way it actually feels like this. I refuse to believe it.
It really does.
I refuse. Oh,
Trust me.
oh my god.
And you're only at 60%.
I think my stomach's gonna explode.
Yeah, this is what we experience once a month.
You Dylan, put it up more. You didn't even ask me the questions. Oh, oh my god.
Well,
my stomach will never feel the same. What is it at? Stop. Yellow. Yeah, I used the safe word. I was just attacked out of nowhere. I didn't see it coming.
What you were at like 70-ish is close to what we experienced on our first day.
On your first?
Yeah.
70?
First. Close, yeah.
Does it gets better as the week goes on?
80 or 90, yeah.
Okay.
So by the second day it gets a little lighter, and then by like the last day it'll be at 20%.
Okay. Now I know what girls feel like once a month. I learned that periods are painful, and I also learned that every time a period happens, a girl doesn't bleed to death. They only bleed out 1/4 of a cup. I always knew periods were super uncomfortable, and like I definitely had, heard that from my friends and girlfriends, but I would definitely take whatever I could to not experience that pain. I'm never doing this game again. I'm never doing this game again.
That machine's right there.
No.
Don't mess with me.
Good with that.
I will put it back if I need to. At 100% intensity.
Was hilarious. I mean, oh my goodness, the Lord knows why. Because y'all fellas, y'all gotta take pain. Y'all like to call woman weak. If y'all had to go through what we have to go through, yeah, the human race would be extinct. But yes, imagine that Edward Scissorhands gets on the inside of you and then just starts scraping and squeezing using his scissor hands. And he just keeps squeezing and churning with those scissor hands. That's what it feels like. It ain't no joke, fellas. And I wish there was a way that we could get all of y'all to experience what that man just went through. So you could have greater compassion for what women are dealing with. Women and young girls, because it's not easy. And as you know, if you've watched this show, it's a very physical thing. It's a very real thing. It's not just in their heads. And honestly, if y'all had to deal with this every month, yeah, the Lord knows just why. Because I dare say there wouldn't be too many humans around. The men going through labor videos are even more hilarious than that. I mean, they act like they diet. And after a couple of minutes, say, epidural. After like 3 minutes, and the women in the video are like, okay, imagine going through that for 24 hours. So my hope today is that you would have received information that will help you to better understand, if you are a female, what your body is going through and why you're experiencing these things and what you can do naturally to mitigate it. And if you're a man or a male or, just be more compassionate and patient, please. Because if you had to go through it, Lord help us all. That being said, I always come from a point of nutrition. So ladies and the men who love them, I want to highly encourage you to make sure that you are properly and adequately nutrifying your body every month with the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, every single month, giving your body the nutrients that it needs to function optimally, and then doing away with as much damage as we're doing to the bodies, eating more organic foods, avoiding the toxins that can lead to hormonal imbalances, and just trying to live a life that is not so full of stress, because all of this contributes to it. And if we all work together, ladies and gentlemen, taking better care of our bodies, making sure that we're getting adequate nutrients, and just being more compassionate with each other, I dare say more marriages will probably be saved. You wouldn't have people so quick to run out on each other, or because they have a better understanding that this is a real physical thing. It's not just in her head. This is a real physical challenge, but it can be addressed. So have hope. And if she's going through a really hard time every month, with everybody around her walking around on eggshells, maybe you need to take a closer look at this video, and maybe you need to get on a proper nutritional program that will help her to better be able to deal with all of this. All right. So that's my time. Tomorrow we have another fantastic show planned for you, fascinating show planned for you, where we encourage you to think beyond what you see on the surface. That's always the goal here at GPS, Global Paradigm Shift, where we encourage you to look beyond. There's a lot going on around us that requires deeper thought and deeper inspection. And my goal today is to encourage you to take that journey and go there. Until next time, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and share the show today. Make sure everybody gets this knowledge so we can have a better understanding of what causes real period pain, not the fake ones. See you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinion.